Hey, it's Lee here again with DisputeBee. In the last video, you learned how to create your first client, how to import their credit report, and how to generate your first round of dispute letters. So in this video, we're going to pick up right where we left off with the same batch of dispute letters we previously generated. And now I'm going to show you what to do when you want to send these letters in the mail. The first step is to download these letters. You can download a letter individually by clicking the download icon on the right, and you'll get a PDF document with your letter. You can also download multiple letters by checking boxes on the left and then clicking on the download icon in the top right corner. You can either get these as a zip file or as a single PDF document with multiple letters appended to each other. After you've downloaded your letters, you would take them to the post office and mail them. Once you've mailed them, you want to indicate in the system here that you've sent these letters. To do that, you can click on the sent icon, which looks like a paper plane, on the right side of a letter. So I'll mark this letter as sent. You can mark multiple letters as sent by checking the boxes on the left and clicking on the sent icon in the top right corner. So I'm going to indicate that all of these letters have been sent in the mail. Your next step would be to wait to receive replies from these letters. So let's pretend that 2 weeks have gone by and you've started to get some responses. Well, all you need to do is click on the Received Reply button. This is going to show you a list of all of the companies you've sent a letter to that you're still waiting on a response from. So let's assume that you've received a response from TransUnion. Well, you can see that you've sent a collection round 1 letter to TransUnion, and the system is aware of that, so we're going to select that. And the system is also aware of the fact that you had 3 accounts listed on that letter to TransUnion. At this point, you're going to select which, if any, accounts got deleted as a result of that dispute. So I'm going to pretend that this account at the top here from Portfolio RC was deleted as a result of this dispute. I'm going to click Save Response. And at this point, 2 things have happened. Number 1 is when you click on Disputes Overview, you can see that the account for Portfolio RC under the column for TransUnion has been marked as deleted. The second thing that has happened is if you click on the Followup Letter button, you can see that there's a collection round 2 letter here waiting to be sent back to TransUnion, and it has the 2 accounts listed on it that were not marked as being deleted. So let's go ahead and generate that letter now. I'm going to click on the Create Letter icon, or the Create Letter button, and you're going to see that here is the next letter. This is a round 2 bureau letter for a collection, and let's see what that letter looks like. It's addressed to TransUnion, it has all the client information on it, and this is based off of one of our default templates. You can see that the 2 accounts are automatically listed on it that were on our previous letter, except for that 1 account that got marked as deleted. Our system automatically goes through 4 rounds of letters when you're disputing a collection with a credit bureau. The number of rounds in each particular sequence will depend on what type of item you're disputing, such as an account or an inquiry, and also whether that letter is going to a credit bureau or a collector. So let's take a look at the other companies we're waiting for a reply from. And let's pick one of the collectors, such as Midland Fund. We're going to select the letter, Collection Validation Round 1. This is the letter that we sent previously. And let's assume that this account from Midland Fund got deleted as a result of our letter. I'm going to click Save Response. And you're going to notice, if I click on Follow-Up Letter, there is nothing here in this list. Well, the reason is because that Midland Fund account only had that Midland Fund letter only had 1 account listed on it. And if you go to the Disputes Overview, it's now been marked as deleted. Let's assume that that was actually a mistake and you didn't mean to select that. Well, you can click on this and you can mark this letter as pending. And now you've corrected your mistake. And if you click on Follow-Up Letter again, you're going to see here is your Collection Validation Round 2 letter ready to be sent back to Midland Fund. So let's create that letter now. If you edit that letter, you're going to see this is our default template for a collection validation round 2 letter. The account number is listed on it, and it's addressed to Midland Fund, and this letter is ready to mail. This covers the basic process of how you're going to manage the sending and receiving of letters. Now, just to demonstrate, I'm going to show you what happens if you go through all 4 rounds for a bureau. So this is our collection round 2 letter for TransUnion, and I'm going to mark this letter as sent. We're going to click on Received Reply, pick TransUnion, say we received a response from our collection round 2 letter, and we won't mark anything as being deleted. I'm going to save this response, click on Follow-Up Letter, and send our round 3 letter. And I'm going to send this letter once again, and we're going to click on Received Reply, TransUnion, the round 3 letter, save response. We're going to send the final follow-up letter, a collection round 4 letter for the bureau, and we'll mark this letter also as being sent. At this point, once you indicate that you've received a reply to this letter and you save the response, there will no longer be an entry in the follow-up letter list. That's because we've exhausted all of the rounds for a collection account letter that's being disputed with the credit bureau. You'll be able to configure how your rounds of letters go out. You can replace all of our default letters with your own, and you can change how many rounds of letters get sent out depending on what the type of the account is and who the letter is getting sent to. Your monthly flow is going to be, every month you'll probably create a new batch of disputes for each client, so you'll click on the New Dispute button and choose either collections, inquiries, late payments, or charge-offs. Anytime you receive a response, just click on the Received Reply button and it will automatically list all of the companies that you're waiting on a response from. And just like I showed you before, you just select which letter this is in response to and if any accounts got deleted. Every time you receive a reply, after you've saved that response, you're going to click on the Follow-Up Letter button to see if there's any letters that need to be sent back to a collector or a credit bureau. And that's what you're going to do on a monthly basis in order to manage the sending and receiving of these letters for your clients. In addition to sending these types of letters that get sent out in sequence in relation to things like accounts and inquiries, you can send letters that just get sent to a credit bureau but aren't connected to an account or an inquiry. An example of that would be a credit freeze letter. To do that, I clicked on the Other Letter button right here, and I'm going to select the credit freeze letter, and this is one of our standard templates, and I'll go ahead and select Experian. I'll create this letter, and you can see here is the letter that got generated. It's going to Experian. The letter name is Credit Freeze. Let's take a look at what's on it. This is one of our standard letter templates. It has the client information at the top. It's of course addressed to Experian. And you can see that this does not have an account or an inquiry on it because, of course, you're just sending a credit freeze letter to a bureau. If you mark this letter as sent, and then you click on the Received Reply button, you're not going to see an entry for this letter under Experian. The reason is because letters like a credit freeze letter don't typically warrant a response. You send it once, and then it's generally done. Sometimes you might have to send custom letters back, but it's not part of the normal sequence like you have rounds of letters for accounts and inquiries. I'm going to show you one other example of a letter that you can send that's not connected to an account or an inquiry. Another example is a letter to remove incorrect information on a client's credit report. Let's send this one to TransUnion. I'm going to create this letter, and you can see here it is. Let's take a look at what this letter has on it. You can see it's pretty typical. There's a place to list all of the incorrect addresses and a place to list all of their incorrect names. You can, of course, use your own custom template to override this, just like any of our letter templates. And this gives you a good overview of the other types of letters you can send that aren't connected to an account or inquiry and don't fit into the normal flow of receiving replies and sending follow-up letters. This covers your basic introduction to the Dispute Manager, and in the next video, I'm going to show you how to create customized letters to override all of the defaults that you've seen here. So at this point, you can take a break, Try creating some disputes and play around with the dispute manager. Let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, continue on with our next video. Thanks for watching.